You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB Financial. This is September the 25th, 2017, and with you today is myself, Carl, and the always wonderful Joel. You know what one of the signs that the hockey season is almost here is, Joel?
Auston Matthews. Auston Matthews.
I was going to say that we're back recording on Mondays, but sure, that works too.
Mr. Hat-Trick.
He had a hat trick tonight?
Scored 3 goals and 1 assist.
How do you even know that happened?
TSN. Well, I saw 2 of them.
Okay, so you saw them.
I saw 2, and according to TSN.ca, because NHL.com is the worst.
Yeah, what's going on over there? I just heard you were just ranting.
Emphasis on the worst website in the world.
Okay.
And I've been on hamsterdance.com when it originally came out.
That was good. Yeah. NHL.com. Joel's struggling. Can you get better? Like the season's starting. NHL.com. Not you, Joel. I did. I just wanted to clarify. I did not want you to get. If you want to get better, you can, but you don't need to.
I'm happy with the level of effort and skill that I already bring. So, but can I just take a second to say how much I love Auston Matthews?
Sure, yeah.
I love him more than double stuffed Oreos. I love Auston Matthews more than a sunset on the beach. I love Auston Matthews more than tacos.
Okay, now. I believed you on the first 2. Because I was like, yeah, double stuffed Oreos, whatever. They're okay, but they're not crazy. Something on the beach, sure, it's fine. I'm not a huge... But tacos, come on, Joel.
Dude, this is the year.
Yeah,
I'm buying Hank Matthews jersey this year. This is the year.
Ooh, this is it. Brand new jersey?
Yeah.
I like that. Well, good for him.
Yeah. It's like... I don't actually know what it's like because I've never had this.
You've never had someone to get excited about?
Well, I've never had like the franchise no doubter player.
Matt Sundin never made you this excited back in the 90s?
No, because like first off, Matt Sundin wasn't drafted as an 18-year-old. Wasn't he came over from the Nordiques. He was great. But like Matthews is going to be better than Sundin.
yes, he will. And you know what, Joel? We're going to let you have plenty of time because we're going to get into later this episode. We're going to be doing our last divisional preview. The Atlantic Division is coming. We're going to fill out our fantasy hockey league because the season is like 9 days away.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm glad.
I watched my first hockey game tonight. It was the first game of the season I watched.
I watched yesterday and today my Colorado Avalanche back-to-back wins.
Very nice. No, I hadn't watched the Leafs yet, mainly because I hadn't signed up for Game Pass or whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
And also tonight was the anticipated Leafs starting lineup.
Okay, so it was like the full squad.
It was the full squad, the guys that they expected, because there's only really 2 spots that are up for grabs. And so those 2 guys that everyone's expecting were there, so we watched. Carl, tell me about how you felt about the Avalanche.
Well, they played an understaffed Minnesota Wild team last night and looked great in doing so. Nathan MacKinnon has looked fantastic so far this preseason, so hopefully he can carry that into the regular season. A lot of the guys who kind of you want to take that next step or are performing, doing well. So, Tyson Yost has looked pretty good. Alex Kerfoot, that college guy, he's been serviceable, scored a goal tonight. I think, it's got me excited. But then I remembered, because, they played Dallas tonight. And I got all excited. They played Dallas again earlier this preseason. They won 5-1. And then I harkened back to early last season, regular season, beat Dallas to start the season. I was like, oh man, this is great. So I'm really tempering my excitement because one is the preseason and two, they beat Dallas to start the year last year. So nothing to get too crazy about.
Speaking of Dallas, who's winning that Monday Nighter right now?
I don't know.
Do we know?
No,
You're not checking up? Me and you play in our longtime keeper dynasty league head-to-head this week.
Yeah, but it's pretty much over. Like, that matchup is yours. You sat around and complained yesterday about how terrible my fantasy teams are, and then you went out and beat me.
Oh, well, I don't know if you've seen my team in the fifth line fantasy football league thing. Not good.
Yeah, that one's struggling.
It's really bad. I lost David Johnson. It's hard to come back from that.
You also, yeah.
And one of my receivers, I forget which guy.
Yeah.
They're all broken.
Let's talk about some news of the week. But first, Joel, let's remind everyone about the fine folks at ATB Financial who support hockey. They support this podcast. They support the Alberta Podcast Network. ATB Financial. Head over to atb.com/listens where you can find out all the ways that they are there for you, like they're there for us.
All right. Let's get to some hockey.
You know what we won't, and we've talked about it plenty in this offseason, the lack of NHL at the Olympics. So we won't be having NHLers at the Olympics, obviously. And there was a news article, obviously, Larry Brooks, well-known, controversial guy from New York, and well-known for his John Tortorella squabbles. Is that a fair phrase?
Sure.
Okay. He had a piece in the New York Post this week about the fact that the NHL, while they made this big stink and to-do about how they will be having hockey and they want to have this focus on it. Problem with that is that NHL is with NBC. NBC also has rights to the Olympics. So as much as the NHL wants to not stop the season, they actually will be stopping broadcasting because you can't have both.
So the big to-do about this is everyone's like, see, good job, sticking it to Batman. Way to go, NBC. That's what everyone's saying, right?
Yeah, that's kind of some of the point is NBC. Not a fan of Mr. Gary.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's definitely a misguided attempt by the NHL. They clearly need to have a good TV deal. They need to have TV rights out there. And taking that break in the middle of the season when everyone's focus is not going to be on hockey or like NHL hockey. If you're a TV person, watching sports, if you sit down and turn it on, you're like, oh, can I watch Columbus versus the Blue Jackets on Wednesday Night Rivalry? Or can I go watch...
Wait, did you just say Columbus versus the Blue Jackets?
I did. Columbus versus the Sabres is a very real Wednesday night rivalry.
Seriously?
The Columbus-Buffalo rivalry. Well known, right?
Unreal. See, this is why...
Not to be confused, guess what the first Wednesday night rivalry of the year is, Joel?
Okay, I'm gonna go Panthers, Coyotes.
Nope. So it is the Stanley Cup champion, two-time defending Stanley Cup champion, Pittsburgh Penguins. And obviously you're talking rivalries. So you've got Washington. You've got their rival Philadelphia. You could pick any of the teams in that division, but we're not going to pick them. We're going to go all the way back to, maybe a Western Conference team. How does the St. Louis Blues sound?
Oh, my goodness.
well-known, fierce Blues-Penguins rivalry.
This is exactly why NBC can go and take their like petty threat of taking games off during the Olympics and go fly a kite, because nobody cares what you think, NBC. As much as I don't like Gary Bettman, this has nothing to do with the NHL. The NBC is only doing this because they're going to get more money by showing the Olympics instead of hockey.
Oh,
that's the only reason.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why they're doing it. I've seen so many people playing this up as like NBC sticking it to the NHL. It's not that. It's not even close to that. It's NBC just saying we're going to show the Olympics, and the NHL being like, okay, we don't really care. No one likes watching your stupid rivalry games anyways. I imagine most people in the States who watch hockey watch it on their local stations. No one's watching it on NBC.
Yeah, especially for us, like up in Canada, we don't, like, they might simulcast it on TSN, but that's about it, right? Like, we're not getting those national NBC games. And so down for the American folks, there's not, a ton of, that they brag about their 100 games a year, but the amount that are on actual NBC are what, like 7, I think, are nationally broadcast on NBC.
Yeah, because I get NBC, like the regular NBC channel, the one that gives you Sunday Night Football or whatever. That one, there's like 10 games maybe a year on that station. So I get it. The NHL should still go to the Olympics, but this doesn't matter. This is not even close to a big deal when it comes to another knock against the NHL. Gary Bettman's still getting his money from NBC. They still have to pay for those 20 games that they're not showing.
Well, and they're still showing like the same 100-odd games, right? Like, it's not whatever. It doesn't. I definitely. NBC doesn't care. They're in it to make money. And if they lose a little bit on this NHL deal, it's not like the NBA that's making a ton of money from a TV deal. Like the NHL, sure, they make some money. All their money's from the Rogers ginormous deal that they signed a few years ago.
Yeah, it's just, I think all the fans out there just need to get over it. The NHL is not going to the Olympics. Stop talking about it. The season's starting. Let's just give it up.
All right, let's do that. Someone who might be in the Olympics, Jaromir Jagr, has announced that he will not be starting. Obviously, not in camp. Won't be starting. I honestly think we could very well see him make a play to play in the Olympics and then come to an NHL team after. That might be, get the best of both worlds. Get to play in the Olympics and then pick your teams when. What's the best free agent pickup? A fresh 17-year-old.
A fresh 17-year-old?
Yeah, he's about 417 years old. That's approximately.
Is this a case of him saying, I'm not going to play for an NHL team, but like he's saying that, but really, like, if you were to go and ask every GM, did you want Jaromir Jagr? Like, what GM's saying yes to that right now?
Yeah, the thing is, there's a lot of GMs that are saying, like, yeah, we don't want him, we don't want him, we don't want him. But then on the same time, like, he could still produce. That's what I don't get. Like, to me, I honestly think he could make many teams better, even in, like, a second or third line role. I don't care. Like, he could still contribute and be a contributing member of a team. Now, is it for the amount he's maybe wanting? No. I don't know if Jaromir Jagr is going to come in on a PTO or a sub $1 million contract and try to show up for these teams. So that, I think, is a big factor because he obviously doesn't need the money. He's been doing this for quite some time. He can make whatever he wants. He can set his price. If they don't want to pay $3 million, $4 million, whatever, I think that is the biggest issue. For the price he's asking, there's not a lot of teams that want to pay that.
Yeah. Do you remember when he signed with Washington?
Well,
it's such a big deal.
He signed with he was traded to Washington, was he not?
No, other way around.
He signed with Washington, then was traded to
the New York Rangers.
could have sworn it was the other way around.
No.
All right.
2001-2002 was his first year at the Capitals. He had 80 points, or he has 79 points. Then he went to the Rangers during the 2003-2004 season. Then after that year, he went back to the Czech Republic. Is it the Czech Republic? Is that it? Czechoslovakia? Which one is it? I always forget.
It's the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Because there's the Czech Republic and Slovakia, which used to be the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so he spent a year. That's the lockout year. That's the lockout year. Then he went back in the Rangers. Then he went back to Russia, KHL, back to the NHL, back to the KHL, back to the NHL. Maybe he'll go back to the KHL.
Maybe he will. Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. I guess he had 16 goals last year. I don't know. He's just kind of like, do you really want to be the guy that signs him to like $3 million and he scores 2 goals? And then everyone's like, but he's like Matt Martin. He's a role player.
Well, Matt Martin's getting paid that much money.
Let's remember that they have Auston Matthews. Did you see what the team, that new team that we have? What's that new team?
Vegas?
Yeah, did you see what they did on their ice?
They put all the names of season ticket holders.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I like that.
You would be happy about that?
Yeah, why are you not happy with it?
I don't know. I just feel like it's something that like they did, but it's like, I don't know. I guess it's cool, but like I'm not like super excited about it.
I think like if you are one of those season ticket holders, that's a cool thing to do, to be able to have that and to thank them. They're a team that very much needs to build that support around their fans and get the fan support. So definitely, I think that is a huge part of what they need to do. I know, like for me, I went. Here's a reference that you'll love. I went to a NASCAR race, Mr. Jeff Gordon's last race at my favorite track, and they had, I was down on the track beforehand, and you could sign your name on the start finish line and like write thank you. I thought that was cool. Like, and to me, it's very similar. Like that's the same kind of a thing. You're letting the fans be a part of what's actually happening, and the more you can get that involved, the better. If every NHL team wanted to do that, I would not be opposed.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't think it's like, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's just, I don't know. It's not that exciting. It's not like you're going to be able to read your name.
Maybe
do they let
like
them go on the ice?
When they're doing like a 12-minute offside review and they just keep showing the ice over and over and over again, maybe you could like zoom in and just see your name there.
Yeah, I guess that could be. Okay.
There you go. Do you want to get into our preview?
I do.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the Leafs or end with the Leafs?
End, because we're going to start with the team that's losing this division and going to end with the winner.
Okay. So we did put out a poll today, Joel.
Yeah.
In advance of this episode.
Yeah.
And for the sake of, talking about this, 3 options and other. So we had the Habs, the Sens, who finished 1-2 last year, the Leafs, because of you, and other.
Mm-hmm.
Other one with 48%.
Well, that's not surprising.
Near behind, though, was the Leafs with 35% of the vote. So either you went out and created about 14 new accounts this afternoon, or people are believing in your Leafs.
Well, you know who's not going to win this division?
The Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, they're going to be last.
And the Buffalo Sabres.
We're going to go Detroit first.
Okay.
We're going to go Detroit first. I'm sorry. It's going to be Detroit. I feel bad because we have some friends who are Detroit Red Wing fans.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't do it.
No, this Red Wings team, they, obviously last year missed the playoffs for the first time in forever, right? That streak had to end sometime.
Yeah.
Ended the last year in Joe Louis Arena. And now you get the new barn, the
pizza,
the pizza oven.
Is that what it's called?
That's what we're gonna call it. got
I like it.
Little Caesars Arena, I believe is what they're calling it. So yeah, they're opening this new arena, but that team is so bad.
Oh, it's terrible. You know who their best player is?
Henrik Zetterberg.
Oh, I don't know. Like, it was a legit question.
Like an actual,
I don't know anyone
an
on
actual
this team.
posed question.
Yeah, like is it... Carl, tell me why Danny DeKeyser is worth 5 times 5.
I can't. I cannot tell you that, Joel.
No.
There are a lot of contracts on this Red Wings team that I cannot explain to you, starting with Justin Abdelkader and Danny DeKeyser and going all the way down through a substantial amount. Franz Nielsen just signed a 6-year, $5.25 per last year. This is a team full of bad contracts, and now they're right up against the cap. And Athanasiou sits as one of the guys who's still an unsigned, unrestricted free agent or restricted free agent.
They'll toss Franz in on the IR.
Oh yeah,
long-term IR.
Yeah, they can clear some space, but they're also currently $3 million over the cap. So
that's not good.
They're gonna toss Franz in on IR and still be $1 million over the cap.
Man, I feel bad for Franz, and he signed an 11-year contract.
I feel bad for him because of his health reasons, but he did also get to sign an 11-year contract.
Right, but you don't feel a little bad that he's a 30 goal scorer.
Oh, yeah. Just a career wrecked with injuries. Yeah. I 100% feel bad for him about that, but
he played 0 games last year, 2 games the year before. Have they said he's done? Or is it just assumed he's done?
I think it's just assumed he's done. But because he is. He's 37, 2 more years left on this deal. So yeah, he
3.
Well, I get 2 after this, yeah, so 3
right.
total. Yeah, it's too bad. Definitely you don't want anyone's career to end like that, so.
What actually happened to him? I don't remember. Do you know what the injury was? Because this isn't like a one of these phantom injuries.
Yeah, he's not on Robidas Island. This is an actual thing.
So, is Hossa playing in the preseason here? Have we heard anything from him?
No, he's allergic, Joel.
So he can't play. He's done.
Correct.
He's never playing again.
So they say.
I just thought that was kind of I didn't think that was serious.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Now,
apparently, he's going for an independent medical evaluation. Apparently, that's the thing the NHL is doing now.
Well, you can't just shove people on long-term IR, Joel. Sometimes players revolt against that.
Sometimes players can't pass physicals.
So obviously, we're making reference to Mr. Joffrey Lupul. We'll get to that later. And rumor has it, Joel, we're going to actually touch a little bit more on that on this week's coming Fifth Line.
Well, if we do, I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
Joffrey Lupul is... I'm unimpressed with Mr. Lupul.
Really? Why?
Because there's no way, with all of his injuries and not playing, he may be able to skate. There's no way he can actually be an NHLer anymore.
I would disagree. I think he could definitely be an NHLer.
No. There's no way.
Well, there's only one way to prove it. Let him play.
What if he can't? But, there's no evidence that he hasn't legitimately passed a physical.
Okay. There's no evidence to say that he has or has not.
There's definitely evidence that he hasn't. A doctor that put him through a physical failed him.
Okay.
So he's failed a physical. Mm-hmm. You can question whether, you actually think this independent arbiter or whatever that's going to put him through a physical is going to pass him.
I think that a team doctor being the ones deciding if you are or are not able to perform has always been a little skeptical. We've had this with concussions. This is what's gotten us into this concussion mess, is team doctors just passing people to go play so that they can. We've got, you go to the quiet room before, and now they have to have independent people around for these concussion tests because team doctors can't be trusted. We've had team doctor after team doctor who could not be trusted. So yeah, 100%, I do not trust the fact that a doctor has failed him on a physical. Do I trust that doctor didn't have ulterior motives? I cannot confidently say that, I do not believe that is a 100% trustworthy result.
Yeah, Lupul's going to lose money over it because they're just going to buy him out.
Perfect. That's fine for him.
Is it?
Because he still gets the money, just spread out.
Not all of it, though. He only gets a third. That's what happens on a buyout. You only get a third of the money.
Isn't it 2/3?
I don't believe so.
Well, he also only has this year left, so they kind of missed that window.
Yeah, well,
so he's getting all the money.
I don't think he's going to play again. There's no way this guy plays again.
Yeah, that I can agree with. And if the Leafs have enough cap room, it doesn't matter if he is or is not healthy. They can just sit him like they did last year.
Well, and that's what's going to happen. And that's the thing. There's a reason why he came back and took back what he said and apologized for it.
Because it doesn't matter.
No, because he realizes if he actually wants to play again, he shouldn't go out calling out his team. No, nobody wants him on his team if you're going to call out ownership. What owner's going to want that guy on his team?
No one wants a 35-year-old who hasn't played in 3 years on your team. That's the biggest reason no one's going to...
So, but you just said that he's a legitimate NHLer, and yet you're just saying nobody wants him on their team.
I said
so it's one or the other.
I said
it's one
he
or the
could
other.
be. We don't know. But no one's going to go out and give him a contract. Best case scenario, he gets a PTO. No one's going to go and sign him. But you don't know. He could be. He could not be. It is more likely than not that he is not able to play. But the fact that he, failing a physical means that you are not physically able to perform to that level that is necessary to play. Just because you are bad, you can't go failing people's physicals. Sure, he could be healthy enough to play in the NHL, but he is not. He would then not necessarily be good enough, and that's very different.
So what if a guy breaks his leg 4 times and can't skate nearly as well as he could when you signed the contract? That's fine?
You still pass his physical.
Yeah, but he's still allowed to play?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I don't know, man. If you can't perform at the level, because of injury, to me, that's an injury.
But that is very different. If you are not able to perform, you can't put someone on, okay, so you have a long-term health problem.
That's what happened with Robidas.
Yeah, you also didn't have to put him on it's the same thing. You didn't actually need to put him on your long term either.
See, and I know everyone jokes about the Robidas thing, but he's working for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. So he clearly was fine with the situation. Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be working for them.
Right. Joffrey Lupul will not be working for the Toronto Maple Leafs after this.
Even if he wants to.
All right. I personally, next in this list, have the Buffalo Sabres. Who do you have, Joel?
Yeah, I think they're going to be better than they were last year, but I also think Florida is going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah, maybe.
Florida had a really bad year. The only thing with Florida, well, I guess, let's go Sabres next.
Okay, Sabres next. This is a team that really did not do a whole heck of a lot of anything this year, right? They kind of are just hoping that the whole team progresses. Their biggest move was the reacquisition of Jason Pominville, with Marco Scandella coming back the other way, which I I think that I don't think they did. They did need to add some bits on defense. So I'm fine with them moving out, essentially moving Tyler Ennis and getting Scandella. I like that pickup. And so from that side, that's good. But like, the rest of this team is just one of those, as a fan of a team who had a very bright future and everyone got really excited about, and then has been terrible. That is this team. They need, their young guys need to step up and be good. And I just don't buy it.
Can we play a little bit of a game here?
Yeah, let's play a game.
Jack Eichel or Jonathan Gaudreau?
John.
Jack Eichel.
Can we call this game You Don't Know Jack?
You don't know Jack. Yeah, I like that. That's right. Jack Eichel, Auston Matthews.
Jack. No, it's Auston Matthews. Come on.
Okay. Jack Eichel, Philip Forsberg. Eichel, Barkov.
Eichel. Line.
I'm trying to think of a guy in that range that you're like, so other than Barkov, I'm trying to think of another guy in that range that you would take Eichel over. I can't. I probably have him over Forsberg.
Do you have him over Gaudreau?
I think so.
So here is, there's a big to-do this summer. SB Nation did their top 25 under 25.
Mm-hmm.
The top 4 in this order: McDavid, Matthews, Laine, Jack Eichel, number 4.
Yeah.
Beating out the likes of, you mentioned Barkov. Gaudreau was at 12. Forsberg was at 3.
3?
Or 13.
I was like, how does...
There's a 3 in there. It's fine.
How old's Tarasenko? He's a bit older, right?
Yeah, he's a bit older at this point.
Yeah.
So, this is the thing with Jack Eichel. There is very little supporting cast on this team for him, and I think that hurts him. Whereas the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid can bring up Leon Draisaitl. Auston Matthews has great players surrounding him. Not to diminish, don't think I'm besmirching the great name of Auston Matthews, but he has quality, additionally young players that could play alongside him. Jack Eichel is just doing it by himself in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not good enough to be the guy.
And he hasn't been able to quite figure out how to stay fully healthy.
Yeah, he had some health problems last year, and about a point a game last year, which is good. But a point a game when you're the only guy on your team who can do that isn't going to get you anywhere. He needs to find ways to get to that level where he can bring people up with him, where he can make, Zemgus Girgensons look like Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, and the other thing is, he doesn't, do you see Eichel as being a long-time Buffalo Sabre? Of all the guys that we just talked about, I would say Eichel is the most likely of them, of those guys not to be playing for the team he's currently playing for in 10 years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
McDavid, Matthews, Laine, probably Forsberg. Those guys are all going to be on these teams for a very long time that they're on.
Yeah. I would definitely. Well, he's expressed his concerns with the team already, right? And he's not even done his entry-level deal. So, that could get... And he hasn't signed his extension yet. So, all right, Sabres going to struggle. That has been the premier edition of You Don't Know Jack.
I like that game. We should play that again later.
We should, yeah. We'll put that in the old hopper for later. So next, Florida. You like the Florida Panthers next?
I don't know if I actually would have them next.
Tell me.
Like, there's no way Boston's as good as they were last year, right?
I would think so, yep.
You think they will be?
No, I'm with you. I don't think that
Yeah.
they'll... Like, I don't have them in the playoffs this year.
I was like, let's go Boston next.
Sure,
That's
let's
where
go. Let's go. Everyone knows our dislike of the Boston Bruins. We can easily put them next.
Like, because my top four are Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Tampa in some order. But let's go Boston next. I think Florida. I think they can be better. They did lose two huge pieces, but I think they can be. Let's go Boston. Let's stick it to Boston.
Let's stick it, Boston.
All right, Boston. We're gonna play a game called Bo Knows Not.
Bo knows not. Okay.
Bo Horvat, David Pastrnak.
that one was a stretch.
Well, I went to Boston. It's B.O. Bo Horvat.
Okay. I'm seeing what's happening here.
David Pastrnak or Bo Horvat. They're kind of signing deals that are about the same.
I'm going David Pastrnak.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want to like him, but I do. Like,
is this? Oh, go ahead.
That was it. As you were.
I was gonna say, is this the year that everyone realizes Patrice Bergeron isn't as good as everyone thinks he is?
You've been waiting for it. Yeah, this is like, I think Brad Marchand just came off what will end up being his best season ever.
Oh,
so
there's not even a question about that.
So you have like Marchand gonna be worse this year. Honestly, like, as much as I like Pastrnak more than Bo, we know that Bo knows best. So
yeah, there you go.
But like, honestly, that's the problem with Pastrnak is similarly to Marchand, like, Pasternak's probably had his best year, like stats wise at least, like putting up those numbers that he put up last year, putting up 34 goals. That's a pretty big digit. I don't know if I would expect him to surpass that.
So you take if we're playing, you don't know Jack.
You don't know Pastrnak.
Jack over Pastrnak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zdeno Chara is still a thing.
Yeah, he still plays hockey. He's now just, instead of being big and physical, he's just big and slow.
Yeah, but at least they're not paying him crazy amounts of money anymore.
Yeah, that part of the deal's done. Now it's just avoiding recapture penalty. So that's fine. Yeah, this is the last year of his deal.
No, this is a new deal.
Oh, is it?
I thought so. Because I don't know. I think it is because the cap.
This is the last year of his deal. It was a 7-year deal that ends this season.
Then how come the cap hit's only 4? And his cap hit all the other years was 7.5.
That's a great question, Joel. We're gonna have to. Oh, okay. Here you go. Cap friendly with the old tip. Due to the Kovalchuk rule, Chara's final year cap hit is equal to his salary as he is aged 40 or older. This rule was removed in the 2012 CBA, so that's why no one knows about it. It probably only applied to Kovalchuk and Chara.
And what about Hossa? Hossa's not 40 yet.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with those. But yeah, Hossa's not 40. That's why. But Luongo's deal probably applies to that. It's weird. I didn't know that was a thing that existed.
Luongo's deal, I'm pretty sure, is even. But anyways, Boston. Tuukka Rask. Yay or nay?
Yay.
You like him?
Yeah, sure. I think he's good. I think he is good enough for this team. In the backwards, upside down world of NHL goaltenders, Tuukka Rask is quite. He's like, I would top 15, which is more than enough.
That's good enough. So okay. Anything else you want to say about Boston? David Krejci?
Nope.
Matt Bolesky?
No, like they've got good young defensemen, and I wish that they had have traded one of them for Matt Duchene. That is the only thing. I wouldn't have minded Brandon Carlo, Charlie McAvoy. Those are good young defensemen. That is the only saving grace of the Boston Bruins this year. If those guys can become good, that's the way that these guys' season shall be saved. If not, it's going to be a long year in Boston.
Isn't that McAvoy guy one of their college free agents?
No, he was signed.
Draft pick?
He was a college guy,
but he wasn't. But he was signed as a draft pick.
Yeah,
that's good because we all know how good college free agents are.
Yeah, he was drafted 14th in 2016. So,
oh, fancy! And Brandon Carlo.
Yeah,
is that guy any good?
Yeah, he's good too. He was the other guy that I mentioned. Do you even listen when I talk about things?
I was on Charlie McAvoy. I was reading stuff about him when you said that.
Okay.
So I was listening.
Okay.
Just not to the second part. I was listening to the first part.
You're like, Charlie McAvoy. Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy. He's good.
Yeah. So you need to give me time. So talk about that guy and then move to the next name.
Okay. I can't back to back him.
Yeah. Don't do that. I'm not prepared for that.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let us go. This will be the last team of the bottom half.
Yeah.
The Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
So you think that the Panthers are going to be better than they were last year? Everyone was all excited about the Panthers 2 years ago. They came out, just destroyed everything. We're great. Then last year, fired their coach. He's now in Vegas. They lost Jonathon Marchessault to Vegas.
Add Reilly Smith. Is that his name? What's that guy's name?
Yeah. He also sent him over there. And now
they sent over Reilly Smith so they would take Jonathon Marchessault when they probably would have taken Jonathon Marchessault anyways.
Right. Yeah. You didn't need to do that, but you did.
Yeah.
So this team, they did also just last week, Jason Demers off to Arizona.
I take this back. Maybe we should put them under Boston. I forgot about all of these guys they lost.
Yeah.
Man.
They went out and dealt away a quality defenseman and got back a third or fourth line winger.
Oh, this team might be really bad. They might be worse. They've got one good player.
Yeah, they're not that good.
No. Remember when everyone thought Jonathan Huberdeau was going to be amazing and now he's not?
Yep. And credit where credit's due. You always said, who's Jonathan Huberdeau? Yeah,
exactly. Ekblad, that's the team.
Yeah. There's some auxiliary pieces to get excited about. Sure. Barkov, good. Vincent Trocheck, people seem to like him.
Who is Evgeny Dadonov?
He was one of those guys they drafted from the K, went over there, finally signed his entry-level deal this year.
For $4 million?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so he's the big wild card this year.
Sure, that's what he's going to be.
Or just a big cap sink.
Not that it matters here.
How many over under 40 games for Roberto Luongo?
Over. No, that's the number. I'll go 43 games.
Well, yeah. 40 is less than half, so...
I know. I'm going to go 43 games.
43? All right.
Over under 83.5 points.
Over.
So better than last year. Over under 87.5.
Under.
Wow, 85 points, folks. That is what they are getting.
4 points better. Hey, that's, it's that's about 40 points more than my Avalanche had last year.
Carl, who do you have next?
Actually, Joel, you know what's next? Let's let some folks know about one of the great shows from the Alberta Podcast Network next.
Do it.
All right. There is a great show, which actually, so now that we come out on Monday nights, most of you are probably listening to this on Tuesday. Unless you're burning the midnight oil, waiting for this show to come out. You're probably listening to this on Tuesday. Well, every Tuesday, a great show called That's So Maven comes out. And what it is it's not really our wheelhouse, Joel. But I think you would still enjoy it. What it is it is a podcast by women, for women, see, not us, and about women in business. Every week they have a different entrepreneur on. The show is focused on what it's like to be an entrepreneur, people's journey in entrepreneurship, challenges they face, how being a woman has shaped their experience. So if you are interested at all in what it's like to be an entrepreneur, if you are one, reach out to them. But definitely take a listen to a great show. That's So Maven, one of the many fantastic shows on the Alberta Podcast Network.
What is the host's name Maven?
No, it's Andrea.
Do we know the story behind the Maven?
No, but you know what? Let's ask them. Maybe they'll mention it on their next show.
Yeah. Tell us, is it, because I get the impression that a play on a Disney Channel classic.
Yeah.
What was the thing about that girl in that show? Did she she could stop time or something like that? I didn't watch it either, but I remember people watching it.
Yeah.
With that girl from the Cosby Show.
What? She was in the Cosby Show? Was she the little girl?
Yeah, she was the little girl in the Cosby Show. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. This might have derailed quickly.
No, I think you're probably right. All right, next up. Next person I have, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Not a person, a whole team, actually. I'm not just going to... And you know what? I'm not 100% wrong. The next person I have in the standings is Erik Karlsson and the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, that's who I got next to.
And this is so we're in the range now. Everyone below this, not a wild card team. The Ottawa Senators, they'll be fringe-ish. Last year, Boston, Toronto tied with 95 points, putting them as the 2 wild card teams. Or I guess not the 2 wild card teams, but a wild card team, tying for that last spot. And so, I don't have the confidence to say that the Ottawa Senators will make the playoffs this year, though. It just doesn't seem to be a thing that can happen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't like this team.
Well, we know that. Yeah.
There's very few things that I don't like, and the Ottawa Senators are one of them. Actually, that's not true. There's a lot of things I don't like.
I'm glad you pointed it out so I didn't have to.
They're terrible.
Here's one thing that I always forget that you don't like. I know that you shouldn't like them because the closeness rivalry. I always forget how much you just dislike them because to me they're kind of like a nothing team.
Do you remember how many times we beat them in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's the
Those
thing.
were great years.
You beat them.
Yeah, but we still don't like them.
Okay.
They've always been in our division.
Mm-hmm.
They are terrible.
Uh-huh.
They had Patrick Luleem, which really, come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Alfredson throwing sticks at Leafs fans in the stands.
Okay. Nobody
likes this team. Literally nobody likes this team. People in Ottawa don't like this team. They don't go to games.
That is true. You can't argue with facts on that one.
So the only thing good about this team is that they somehow gave the Leafs stuff for Dion Phaneuf.
Yeah, you got actual pieces that became something.
Well, a second round pick. I don't know if that'll ever become something, but
it's not $7 million for Dion Phaneuf.
Yeah, can you imagine if the Leafs still had to deal with that? Hilarious. Well done, Ottawa. You contributed to the Leafs being great.
That's true. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
So this is a team. Mark Mathot went off to the Vegas Golden Knights and then ended up in Dallas afterwards. They thus brought in Johnny Oduya to fill that slot on the back end, which, that's fine. I think Oduya is still a serviceable defenseman.
He's getting old, though.
Right, but what they're paying him is quite okay. I think he can be... It is a downgrade from Mathot, but I don't hate him being on this team. If I was a supporter of Ottawa.
I think, who did they trade Lazar for?
They traded Lazar for Dun, 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 dun. I don't remember.
Because that was probably a bad move.
Who did they trade? Wasn't it it was a draft pick, I thought, wasn't it?
I don't know. But Lazar's going to be decent, I think.
I don't think so.
He's going to be better than what they gave up for him.
From what I've been hearing, and I could be mistaken, but he has not impressed in the preseason.
Fair enough. Yes. Do you think Pajot is going to be as good as he was last year?
No. That's a guy that I'm always just like, how are you doing what you're doing?
Well, he only scored 12 goals last year. He just had a crazy playoffs. He scored 8 goals in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's skills. But like,
wait, they had 19 games in the playoffs last year? That's
they played Ottawa.
Were in three rounds.
Yeah.
This team's weird.
Very, very strange. And, Craig Anderson, big reason that they were able to do that last year. 36 years old. Another example of someone, an older goaltender. I don't buy necessarily that he can do it again.
Yeah, and what? Colin White might be out until December.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
So, okay. Ottawa, probably not a playoff team.
Doubtful.
Who do you have next?
Next, so we're down to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
I have the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nope.
Who do you have next?
Tampa.
Ooh, let's talk Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa team last year, ended the season, came back with a fury at the end.
Yeah.
They were out of it. Like, they were not even close. Ended 1 point back of your Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And they have the ever-elusive Steven Stamkos healthy for now to start the season.
So it really comes down to, will he stay healthy? So he played 17 games last year. Then he was healthy the 2 previous years. Then he was broken the year before that.
One of those years out of those 2 was the blood clot year, though.
So he played 77 games in the blood clot year.
Yeah.
So that was right at the end of the season because he didn't play in the playoffs.
Right.
So I guess so that was right at the end of the season. So he's had 2 years of fairly significant injuries or health issues. So
and all very, again, they're all unrelated. But when you have so many, it's like eventually there's a connection.
Sort of, but again, it's only been 3. There's only been 3 seasons where he's missed significant time, if you're counting the blood clot year. So last year, 2013-14, he only played 37 games.
That was the Olympics when he, right?
Yeah.
And then with the broken leg.
Yeah, and then 2012-13 was the lockout year. He played 48, then going back 82, 82, 82, 79.
So it's really just been
recently.
Yeah.
So 3 out of the last 4 years he's had a significant injury.
So you don't think that there's reason to be concerned with his health?
Oh no, I'd be terrified if I was a Lightning fan.
Okay.
Because I
just wanted to be clear.
Yeah. And you know what? And this is, as much as I would love and I'm expecting Toronto to finish higher than Tampa, I think a lot of it hinges on Stamkos.
Oh, it all hinges on him, for sure.
So, because this team, you look up and down this team, and they ain't great, except for Hedman and Stamkos. And Kucherov, maybe.
Well, Kuch. But
Stamkos
is, because we saw last year what they are without Stamkos. They played without him for essentially the entire season.
So,
and
no Ben Bishop.
Ben's gone, and I'm okay with that. I like what old what's his face there? Old Vasilevsky.
Yeah, no Jonathon Drouin.
That's a little bit worse.
Sergachev. So here's the thing. This is what I don't like. You lose Bishop. You lose that guy that I just said, Drouin.
Johnny.
You bring in I don't know who they lost on defense. I think that one guy,
Jason Garrison. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gone. But you bring in Dan Girardi and you give him way too much money.
I don't understand why they gave him 2 years, $6 million.
Like, the guy should have been on a PTO. Probably would have made the team, but, like, come on. Chris Kunitz. We're remember when I said I want this to be the year for everyone to find out how bad Patrice Bergeron is?
I do remember that, yeah. You said that.
This is the year we find out how bad Chris Kunitz is. Like, that is happening, and it's going to be painful. That guy's going to be on that third or fourth line. He's going to be one of us very soon.
Yeah, or even, like, benched. He'll be on the fifth line. He can join Tiny and us on the fifth.
But, like, man, it's just, like, I have zero confidence. Callahan. Palat, nah. Tyler Johnson, nah. Kucherov, Stamkos, Hedman. That's your team.
That is it. All right, Joel. So that brings us to the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I told you I had the Leafs finish in third. I have Tampa winning this division.
Do you? Wow.
You most likely have Montreal finishing second. Is that correct?
That is incorrect.
You have the Toronto Maple Leafs finishing second.
I believe I think that's a fair assessment.
That is, I like that. You know,
I would like them to win the division. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think they could win the division, but I think they'll finish second.
Okay, I like that. Well, do you want to talk about your Leafs now, or do you want to save them for last?
No, let's talk about them second.
Okay.
That's where the order we're going.
All right.
And I hate the Habs, so.
All right, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
They made the playoffs last year. They pushed the Washington Capitals to 7 games, which is the Washington Capitals in the playoffs. That is not a difficult feat. What?
It's not what you were saying. It's not what you were saying. However long ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah, but I've got someone else now, Joel. It's better.
Okay. I really don't think it's going to be, but.
Washington Capitals are terrible. Anyways, we're not talking about the Capitals. We're talking about the Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs did not do a whole lot this offseason.
Patrick Marleau.
The Toronto Maple Leafs did not do a whole lot this offseason. They burned some cap space.
Ron
that is
Hainsey.
something they did.
They signed a few of their young guys to great little deals.
All right. I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let you tell me how great the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be this year.
Man, this team is going to be... You're going to want to watch this team because Matthews is going to score 45-plus goals. That's what's going to happen. And Mitch Marner, you thought he was good last year. Wait till you see him this year. That kid's going to take the next step. Frederik Andersen going to be better because he's healthy. I like this team. They're a playoff team. They're going to win.
They are a playoff team. I said I would stop talking. Go.
No, it's fine. They're going to play in the playoffs. I like this. You want to know, like, this is the thing. I like that this has not been the case on my team for a long time, but the fact that there's only 2 spots available heading into the start of the season, like, that feels good. Because you're just like, we know what we have, we're happy about that, and it's going to be a playoff team. So, I like this. I like that I'm never going to have to see Ben Smith in the lineup this year. No one wants that. So,
now you get Dominic Moore instead.
No, it's going to be Altanon.
Who?
Altanen. Miro Altanen.
Okay. What's his deal?
I don't know who this guy is. I didn't know him at all until this offseason. And all of a sudden, he starts playing center on the 4th line. I don't know where did he play last year. Last year, he played in the KHL.
So no Freddie Gauthier on that 4th line?
No Freddie Gauthier.
We can stop being concerned with Freddie Gauthier, right?
Were we ever concerned about him?
Well, I think there was a lot of people concerned about him, but we don't need to worry about him as a thing.
The one thing that I'm looking forward, I'm interested to see if Travis Dermott makes this team at some point during the year. He's not going to make it out of the.
But there will be an injury on defense, and he's
first in line.
He's first in line. Okay.
Well, or Martin Moranson. That's the other guy because he's not going to be in the top 6. It's going to be Cal Rosen.
Ooh.
One of those Swedish guys they signed.
You love some Swedes.
Dude, don't you know it? William Nylander, those two guys can talk Swedish to each other.
Absolutely.
So, hey, maybe we should give Caleb a call. He's out in Sweden already, playing a little.
Is he? Has their season started yet?
I don't know if their season started or not yet, but I should see if he played against Cal Rosen.
He's back with the Lobsters, right?
I believe he's back with the Lobsters.
I like it.
Yeah, right, I'm excited for him. He's got some stuff that's happening.
Things are happening for him over there. He is. Let's just hope he doesn't forget about us.
Yeah, I don't want to say what's happening with him because I don't know if it's public.
Yeah, let's stop it there.
So
I know what you know, and you shouldn't say it. So
okay, I won't say it. I wasn't going to.
Yeah, but no, big.
But I'm happy.
Exciting for him. Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
Excited. I'm looking forward to seeing. We are going to check in with him. I've already talked to him about maybe sometime around Christmas having him on the show, talk about the Lobsters.
I like it. All right, Joel. Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about the Habs. Then we're going to fill our entire fantasy hockey league.
Carey Price. Next.
All right. Yeah. Carey Price adding Jonathon Drouin.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that they did.
I hate this team.
This team, as much as the Lightning go as Stamkos goes, this team goes as Carey Price goes. And Carey Price is really good. So
I'm surprised you have them not winning this division.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Added Alzner, added Drouin. They theoretically they should be better. Who'd they lose?
Radulov? Definitely for this year, yeah, I agree. On paper, they're better. But it always feels like smoke and mirrors with this team. And it is, because Carey Price is smoke and mirrors. He's that good that he makes up for so many deficiencies.
Is Radulov better than Drouin?
Ooh, the problem, I would say that for this team, Drouin is a better fit. They needed someone who can play center, right? And that's where they're going to slot Drouin in to start this season. And if he can be an actual centerman for this team, then no. Drouin, you want him over Radulov.
Yeah.
If they can end the elusive search for another centerman, that'd be great.
I don't know who they're going to get. I don't know.
Well, do you want to put some people in a fantasy hockey league?
I do indeed.
All right, Joel. So we have pre-screened many of the people going in the league. So there's one slot left for us to decide on the show right now. So very quickly, we are going to go through some of the folks who have made in the league. One of them very easily won most timely reply, because you may remember this, Joel, earlier this week. Which former Toronto Maple Leaf were we talking about as a potential person we wanted to talk about more on the show in the future?
Doug Gilmour.
Nick Sagan says, reasons Nick should be in the Fantasy Hockey League. 1, I once told Doug Gilmour the score of the Leafs game. We were smoking cigars on a patio. 2, I believe I'd make a terrible NHL GM, so there's no way I would beat you.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Did he talk with Gilmour more than that?
I don't know. I would think so.
Gilmour was one of my favorite players growing up.
So, that 2 degrees of separation you have now. It's pretty close.
That is really close. I wish this guy was like, I'm friends with Doug Gilmour's kid. That would make me extremely happy right now.
Well, Nick is not. He has 2 additional points. One time I was at a game and saw Kelly Rudy. I gave him the thumbs up and he winked at me. That seems like a Kelly Rudy thing to do, right? Like just wink at someone.
Kelly stinking Rudy.
Number 4, he's really good at bowling. Those seem like great reasons to be in a fantasy hockey league.
Oh, yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, Nick, welcome to the league. Jason Adams. He says that we have helped him to get through a summer without hockey. And he is a Detroit Red Wings fan and takes some sadness from me. And I think every year, Nick, obviously we know him over from Wings Nation, but we need one sad Detroit Red Wings fan in this league. We're putting him in there.
Okay. Just a quick update. I officially beat Carl 116-90 in our fantasy football league.
Joel's terrible fantasy football team somehow managed to beat me.
Yeah.
Don't know how they did it.
It's probably because I'm going to stop talking.
All right. Speaking... I'm so curious what you were going to say now.
You may have scored the least amount of points in our league this week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. And it wasn't even like 90's not great, but it's not like there's teams that put up like 60 some weeks.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you scored the least.
Oh, here's how. My 3 running backs consisted for 17.2 points. That's how.
But there's some. I'm actually more amazed that it's just like there's some bad teams in this league.
There is. All right, let's go back to this league, Joel.
Okay,
David, no, we've got a great one coming up here. David Schneider. He says he's the only hockey fan he knows in Texas, and he needs us for some company. David, welcome to the league. Mark, with what I think is the greatest response. Mark was in the league last year, and he said, if you let me back into the league, he is currently the only returning member, and we put him back in the league because he said, I will make a recording off of one of the last few episodes of Joel saying what. Now, do you want to give him the best what for him to use? Because he said he's going to record it.
Okay, are you ready? What's this guy's name again?
Mark.
Sorry, Mark. Here you go. We're gonna make this really clean for you. We're gonna take a couple seconds. I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna give a couple seconds. This is gonna be beautiful. Okay, ready? What?
Loved it. Anyways, he's going to make that his message tone on his phone for the entire season. So, Mark, if you would like to, send us your phone number. We'll just text you just to hear that. You are welcome. Deshaun Washington III almost made it in just because if he is actually the third, that's almost enough.
Wait. Deshaun Washington?
Yeah.
What's the quarterback for the Houston Texans?
Deshaun Watson?
Ah, so close.
Not him. No. He's just the third Deshaun Washington.
So his dad was Deshaun Washington and
his grandfather was also Deshaun Washington.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. So he's in?
He's in. Partially because he said a lot of things that I agreed with. He likes my mustache. Reminds me of Smokey the Bandit. He's from Seattle, so you like him.
Oh, this guy's money. Is he a Seahawks fan?
He hates stadium taxes. So I love him. I don't know if he's a Seahawks fan. He didn't put that in here.
I hope he is.
Yeah, I hope so too. Ken Callenbach, he said that he had a lot of great reasons. Sorry, I'm fiddling with a knife again. I accidentally pointed it at Joel. The biggest reason why is he brought a fourth line mini stick to visit the Stanley Cup earlier this offseason.
Oh yeah. So there's also a returning the defending champ is coming back, right?
Well, yeah, Nate's coming back for sure. All right. German, the Mr. Modern Manhood, he is in the league.
He's not going to like this episode.
No?
Probably not.
Okay. Well,
I have it on a good authority that he hates the Leafs.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he did actually say that on his show. Well, sorry. At least good news. Joel thinks they'll finish second.
Yeah.
But he is in the league. Mostly he knows. Like, do you know every Joel that's ever played in the National Hockey League?
No.
Well, he knows both people with his name.
I like it.
So that's good.
Joel Ward.
There you go. That's one. Is there a Joel Edmondson? That sounds like a thing.
No.
All right. Well, one last.
Just kidding. You're right.
Is there?
Yeah. How did you pull that one out?
Joel, here's a little tip. I have a hockey podcast. I follow a lot of hockey.
Joel Quenneville.
Oh, him. Yeah, there you go.
Joel Lundqvist. That's all I got.
While Joel's looking up Joel's, I will let you know the last person currently in the league, Kristen Meyer. Her husband, Chris, was in the league last year, and you may remember they were the couple that had the high-sticking contest.
Right.
She beat him at that. She also beat him at fantasy hockey last year. And so it's time for her to prove, yeah, we know you can beat Chris. Like, with all due respect, Chris, we know she's better than you. But it's time to bring out the big guns. Can she beat everyone else?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about my team already.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Okay. Well,
I'm good at fantasy hockey.
Yeah, you've got great regular seasons.
I finish really high.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple more. There's one more spot that we need to fill.
Okay.
And there's a couple of people from last year's league who have made the case to be back into the league.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you know. You get to pick which one of them you want in.
Joel Otto. Just thought of another one.
Oh, there you go. I was going to say, I don't think we can ask Joel Otto if he wants to be in the league.
Well, for sure. He would get the last spot 100%.
Okay, well, unless we can get Joel Otto, this next person is in. So one of them, Matt, Mr. Reasons Are Several, he is the actual Washington Capitals. He continually finishes first in the regular season, gets beat in the semifinals, and then the winner goes on to win.
Okay, so second, the Washington Capitals don't make the semifinals.
Okay, well, that's true. Ben Larson, he missed the draft last year because we had the audacity to hold it on his wedding day. So,
if we choose him, he has to make the draft this year.
Has to. And here's the other thing. We did give him a way to get into the league. He said, how many retweets do I need to get into the league? We said, you need 20.
How many does he have?
18.
So if he gets 2 more, it's his.
So if he can get 2 more.
But he has to make the draft.
So is that who we'll say?
Well, didn't you tell him already? If he gets 20, he's in?
Well, I assumed that had to be before we record right now.
Oh, so it's not. Okay.
Right? That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know how long ago this was.
It was earlier this week. There's a couple jokes came in. Do you like jokes?
Are they good jokes?
They're like, not really. I don't know.
You usually get in the league. I'm giving the last spot to you because you're hilarious.
Yeah, he's sitting at 18 retweets right now.
Oh, I don't know. Who do you want to put in? When's the draft? Next weekend?
The draft will be sometime this weekend. Hockey starts next Wednesday, the 4th. So it'll need to be before then.
Okay. I gotta coordinate with Mike.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. We will once we get everyone. We'll send out the invites tomorrow. We'll reach out to everyone, get those set up, and get everyone in the league. You and Mike can co-manage your team.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like giving it to Ben. 18 is still a respectable number.
Okay.
All right, Ben, there you go. Last spot. All yours.
All yours. Carl, I'm ready for hockey to start.
Let's do this. Next week, we will be here. We'll be talking some awards, some our thoughts on who will win the Stanley Cup. We haven't actually said, what we think. There might be some actual news to talk about. We will see. And then, you know what else we will do next week, Joel?
Talk about hockey?
Pick some high sticking, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be back. So
there you go.
You can find us on the Twitters at Fourth Line Podcast, Facebook.com/The Fourth Line Podcast, Patreon.com/Fourth Line Podcast. We released our Patreon episode this past week. We talked about, what did we talk about on the old Patreon? George Peros, and
then winning streaks in sports.
Winning streaks in sports. That's what we talked about. Head on over there if you want some of that. Fourthlinepodcast.com. Our 31 and 31 series is almost over because it's almost time for hockey. So we're down to like 7 teams left or something like that. Read those, and Boom City.
Boom City.